Here's the honest truth. Success is not about the age or stage of your equine business. It's about knowing where you want to go and using that vision of success as your filter for every decision along the way. Because when you have a clear vision and a system for measuring your personal version of success, then you can make confident, strategic decisions for your equine business. And that's what we do inside of Take the Reins, my one-on-one coaching program. It's a personalized one-on-one business coaching program for equestrian entrepreneurs ready to ditch the marketing overwhelm, overcome the roadblocks holding you back, and grow an equine business that meets your version of success. Friends, you know this about me. I am not here to promise you millions of followers or viral moments because that's for influencers. But if you want to connect with the right people and build a business that works for you, then I'm your coach. I have 8 slots available right now, and once they fill, I will not be opening slots again until 2026. So I invite you to head to stormlily.com/reins, get all the information, apply today, and let's work together to build your dream equine business. Hello there, and welcome to the How to Market Your Horse Business podcast. I am so glad you're joining me here today. As you've likely guessed by now, my name is Denise Alvarez. I have the honor of hosting you here every week. And before we dive into today's episode, I'm going to quickly introduce myself just in case we're new friends, and then we'll jump into these 4 key questions that I want you to consider as we enter the 4th quarter. Now, as I said, my name is Denise, and through my business, Storm Lily Marketing, I get to help dream-chasing horse business owners to ditch the marketing overwhelm, get the clarity they've been craving, and grow their equine business in a way that meets their definition of success. Now, I do this primarily through business and marketing coaching, as well as education, and I have this podcast that's part of the education and some online learning resources for you as well. All that I do, friends, is so that you, as an equestrian entrepreneur, can be out in the barn or the arena or behind the camera lens, behind the computer, at the sewing machine, with your leather working, wherever it is that you are serving the equine industry as an entrepreneur and growing your business. I want to help you do more of that work. And so here on the podcast, you'll get a mix of step-by-step strategies, essential how-tos, and entrepreneurial mindset shifts that will help you not only see what's possible for your business, but I'm also here to guide you through that process so you can make it happen. Now, as I'm recording this particular episode, we are literally 2 days away from the 4th quarter of 2025. Now, if you're anything like me and some of the clients and industry friends that I have been in touch with recently, when it comes to 2025, so far, it's been a doozy. I would say you would all probably agree with that in a variety of ways. Now, of course, I say that with a heart and a head that can acknowledge there have been many good things that have happened this year, both professionally and personally, and one that can acknowledge there's been some heart. And I think that's important to know that you can hold both because I guess for me, that's something I've had to learn. And so maybe for you, if that's been hard, you can acknowledge that there's been some hard, but you can also acknowledge there's been so good. Now, we'll dive deeper into that in just a minute, but I think that's important to say. Now, I don't know if I've mentioned to you guys here on the podcast, but this year, for the first time ever, I put together a curated equestrian mastermind, a small group of fellow equestrian entrepreneurs that can meet up and on a monthly basis, we talk honestly and openly and share the good, bad, and ugly of business building in the equine industry. And we share a problem or particular thing we want everyone to speak into and then open it up for questions and clarity and lessons learned that we can share. It has been so phenomenally good in so many ways. And so last week, we had our September call. And one of the people that was scheduled to be in what I call the hot seat, the person bringing their problem for everyone else to speak into, was not able to attend. And so rather than just cutting it short, I turned it into an opportunity for us to individually reflect on the year so far and openly speak about what we want to accomplish as we close out the year in the final quarter, because we're entering into that. Now, of course, you guys are not in the hot seat. You're not in my mastermind group, but that doesn't mean I can't share these questions with you. I thought they were too good to keep to ourselves. And my podcast friends, you guys are the best ones to share it with because you guys are the ones listening and taking action. And so I want to help you do that. So today, this is going to be a shorter episode than usual because I'm really just sharing these questions and I want you to take them and sit with them. So the time you would normally spend listening to the podcast, let me encourage you to just press pause for 10 extra minutes after this episode's over and think about these questions, okay? My goal, my aim is to help just prepare your head and your heart for what's to come in the fourth quarter for you in your business. And of course, this is not a comprehensive review of the year. If back in June, I think it was June, I'll link to this in the show notes, you did the reset or the marketing mid-year check-in, you saw kind of how some of that process can work. It's not going to be completely comprehensive, of course. This is a podcast episode, but it is going to be important. And it is going to be key and crucial in just pausing before you just jump into Q4 to just pause. Get some questions that are going to help you stay on track and make it easier for you to take the action that matters most for you and your equine business. I didn't highlight this as much in the intro this time, but what I want to remind you of is when I talk about building a successful equine business, successful is always in italics. It's always bold in italics in my mind because it is so subjective to you. And that matters so much. Your measure of success and what is your success in this season is going to be different than mine and any of my clients. And that's a good thing. And the important thing is that you know what that is. Okay. So I'm going to share these questions. I encourage you to bookmark this episode, or you can head to the show notes. If you're listening as you drive, I will have these 4 questions for you on my website at stormlily.com/190 for episode 190. Okay. So if you need easy access, you can find them very easily. Okay. Now, one other quick note before we dive into these questions. My other encouragement to you would be you may not be in an equestrian mastermind, but that doesn't mean you can't grab a business friend who understands the unique melding together of personal and business life when you are growing an equestrian business. So my hope for you is that you take these questions and then you find somebody to sit with and share your answers together, okay? There's absolutely value in you sitting alone and journaling these questions. And there's value in sharing it with a trusted friend who gets it. So let me encourage you to do that as well. All right, here we go, friends. These 4 questions that are going to help you reset your heart and your mind and prepare for quarter 4. Number 1, what am I proud of myself so far in 2025? Or let's just say if you're listening to this as a replay in 2026, just fill in the year, okay? What am I proud of myself so far this year, January through September? Let me encourage you to write more than one thing, and let me encourage you to think about business or personal. Again, as an entrepreneur, these things are so melded together. And so I want to encourage you to acknowledge the personal things and the business things that you are proud of right now. Okay, question number 2. What progress have I made that I have not yet acknowledged? Now, the heart of this question comes from The Gap and the Gain. I've spoken some about that book on this podcast, and they talk about the importance of having big goals and being able to name the progress that you've made. So you may be at 0.5 out of 5 steps that you have in your plan, but can you acknowledge that you're at 0.5 and not 0 anymore? Okay, so my encouragement is what's the progress that you can acknowledge that you haven't yet acknowledged? Number 3, what would a successful Q4 look like for me in this season of business and life? Not in an ideal season, but in this one. Now, the reason I say that is because especially as an equestrian entrepreneur, I know how easy it can be to think, well, if this scenario happened exactly this way, this is what success would look like. And I want you to take a moment to acknowledge the season of life you're in right now, your capacity right now, your capacity as you move into the fourth quarter, and determine what a successful fourth quarter would look like for you. Okay, be very specific with this as you can. All right, the final question. Where have I been trying to carry too much on my own? And what is one step I can take to relieve that pressure? Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I added this question after our mastermind group because I realized it was suggested when I was doing some reading, to be honest with you. I'll be super honest. I was looking at what are some good questions to help reset our heart and our minds going into quarter 4 as an entrepreneur. And this is one of the questions I found that I thought was so, so good. Because as an entrepreneur, you wear many hats. As a mom, as a dad, as a partner, as a parent, you also wear many hats, or you wear many hats. And so it is absolutely possible that at this season, there are things that you're carrying that are not yours to carry, or that you could ask for help or support in, but you haven't wanted to do that for a variety of reasons. And so my question to you is, can you acknowledge there are some areas where you've been carrying too much on your own this far, but that moving into this next quarter, you can release some of that. You can relieve some of that pressure, whether it is just releasing some of your own expectations on yourself, whether it is inviting help, getting someone to help you with some of the tasks that are really taking your time and taking you away from the things that you know would move the needle in your business. There are a variety of ways that you can answer this question. So I want you to consider, where have you been trying to carry too much on your own? And what's one step as you move into quarter 4 that you can take to begin to relieve that pressure? All right, friends, those are the 4 questions I want you to sit with today. Again, you can go to stormlily.com/190, and I have those outlined there for you. I will just tell you one more thing in light of what I told you about Equestrian Masterminds and talking to business friends. This is truly where the value of coaching can come in. So currently, I have Take the Reins, my one-on-one coaching program. But because we have so enjoyed this experience in the mastermind I created this year, I'm actually, and this was a curated group, like this was not something you heard of because it was not an offering that I put together. But it's been so good that for 2026, I am going to put together a similar experience, more of a group coaching experience where you can learn and grow and build in community with fellow entrepreneurs who are growth minded, who know what success looks like, and who want to move together in that direction and speak into each other's lives and encourage one another and share what they're learning and still have access to the coaching and mindset work that comes with a one-on-one coach. So I'm working on that. I have no landing page to send you to today. I just wanted to let you know that's something I'm working on. So stay tuned for that. If that's something that interests you, make sure you're following me on social media. Make sure you're subscribed to the podcast. Make sure we're email friends and you get my weekly emails. That way you will be the first to know about that program, okay? And when it opens up, because it'll open up this fall and we will begin in January. I can tell you that much, I know for sure, okay? So if you want to get on my email list and you are not there yet, I encourage you to just go to my website, stormlily.com. If you go to the Storm Lily shop or any of my free resources, anything that you sign up for there is going to get you to be an email friend. Or if you sign up for new podcast episodes, that gets you in the door. There are a variety of ways to get on that list so you can be the first to know. All right? Okay, thanks for joining me here today. Find a business friend that you're going to sit and talk to with these questions. Send this episode to them and say, we need to do this together. All right? And then stay tuned because coming up, I have some new friends to introduce you to, some new interviews that I've done. I can't wait for you to meet them. But for now, have fun preparing for quarter 4 with these questions and have an amazing day.